Welcome back on this new video on Microsoft Word. In the previous video, we saw how to format a paragraph using the commands on the group paragraph that we can find on the ribbon in the Home tab. Meanwhile, in this new video, we're going to see how to use the different styles that we can already find on Microsoft Word. The styles can be found on the ribbon on the Home tab in the group styles, which is right next to the group paragraph that we saw in the previous video. The styles are presets of formatting, and as you can see, we have a few already available here. But we can create a new style, clear a formatting if we don't want a style or formatting that we applied. And we can apply other styles that are not available here right now. Let's start by creating a new text using the command rand. Press enter. And here we have a new text in English. Here we can see how the different styles work. Let's choose, for example, the first paragraph and click on one of these styles. As you can see, we get a preview as we go over them. Let's choose, for example, this one. As you can see, this specific style changes the color of the font as well as the size. But different styles can do different things. As for example, this one made the text bolder and italic, but didn't change the color nor the size. Let's see now how to create a new style on this paragraph. We go here over the menu and click on Create Style. As you can see, this menu pops up where you can choose the name of the style, and here we have a little style preview. To change it, we go on Modify, and we get all these new settings where we can still change the name of the style. We can choose the type of style that we want. If we want it to apply to a paragraph, a character, or something else, we can choose here. For example, I choose character. We can choose the font that the style is based off. So that means that we can choose a font to start from, but then we can still change it by choosing here another font, for example. We can change the size. We can make it bold, italic, underline. All these commands, we've already seen them before. And we can also change the color. That right now it's black, but we can change to whatever we want. Of course, as always, here we have a preview of what we're doing. And here we have a bunch of options that right now are not available because I chose to apply this style just to a character. But for example, if we go on linked, so paragraph and character, all these commands become available, and we can choose how to align the text with our style. We can choose the space between the lines and the space between the paragraphs. And we can also choose whether or not we want an indent. Then we can choose to add the style to the gallery, which means that it will become available here on the main menu at the beginning. We can choose to apply this style only on this document or on the documents based on the template that we're using. Also, we can make the style update automatically, or if we don't click on it, we can update it whenever we want. If we click on Format, we have a bunch of other options that we can edit for our style as the font that we already have here. We have options for our paragraphs, which are the commands that we saw on the previous video, and so on. As you can see, we got the tabs, border, text effect, and other things that we already seen or that we'll see later on. So let's click on OK. And as you can see, the changes that we made have been applied to the paragraph. And we should also be able to find the style that we just made here in the main menu. And here it is, style 1. We made it quite simple, but as you saw, you can make it as complicated and creative as you want. Let's see now the option Apply Styles. Right now it's telling us that the paragraph we chose, which is this one, the second paragraph, has already a style applied to it, which is book title. But we can click on this arrow and here we can see this list of all the styles that are available on Word, even if they're not all visible on this main menu. We can choose whatever style we want, for example this one, or we can modify the style and open up this menu again, and once again we can choose whatever we want. We can also go on the menu styles here, and this little menu will pop up where we can see once again a list of all the styles that we can find on this file, and we can see a preview of all of them. Still on this little menu, we have the option to create a new style, which will open up this menu once again. We can use the option Style Inspector, which will open up a third little menu where we can clear the formatting of the paragraph that we've chosen or modify it however we want. Then coming back on the styles menu, we have the option to use the command manage styles. If we open it up, we get this bigger menu where we get another list of all the styles that are available. We get a preview as always that we can modify and it will open the same menu that we've seen before once again. Same thing if we click on new style, that last menu will open again. We can go on recommend, and on this menu we can choose which style should appear by default in the recommended section, which means in the menu that we saw before in the styles in the home tab, and we can choose which style should appear before. If we go on restrict, we can select styles that will still be available even if the document is protected from formatting changes. And we can set defaults, which means a style default that will be available on this document or on the document with this template. We can also import or export a style. And as you can see here, we have the list of all the styles available on this file. Meanwhile, here on the general, like global template award, we have these 4 styles that are not available currently on our document. And we can either choose one of these and copy it into our document or choose one of the styles available in our document and copy it into the normal template of Word. Let's click now on options where we can choose which styles to show on the main menu. Right now, the styles chosen are the recommended ones, but we can also choose from the in-use one, in current document, or all styles. And we can choose once again how to sort the list by choosing from one of these options. All these commands are quite advanced and we don't necessarily need all of them. All we need to remember really is the commands that we can find here in the main menu. So basically how to create a new style, how to get rid of a style, and how to apply styles that are not available here. Let's see now how the styles that are recommended here in the main menu change based on what template we open. For example, let's go to File, New, and click on this template. Let's click on Create and wait for it to open. And as you can see now that we have this new file opened, the styles available here are different from the styles that we had on the other document. You can see they are different. And here, if we click, for example, on this element, we can also see that it tells us that the style applied to that element, it's this one. But if we click on this other element, it will tell us that the style applied is normal. On this other element will tell us that the style is title 1. So basically, if you want to add something to this template and use a style that you see on this file, but you don't know which one it is, you just click on it and it will tell you which style they're using so that you can select it for the new element you're adding. So now that we've seen how to create a new style by using this command right here, we can see that there's also another way to create a style. For example, if we select this line, we can change it however we want. We can also change the font. We don't necessarily have to use only the commands that we find right here. Of course, we can use whatever else we want. For example, I want this one and I want to add an effect like a reflection. Of course, we can do whatever we want. And then once we're happy with our changes, we just go back to this little menu by right clicking on the phrase and click on styles. Then we click again on create style. And as you can see, we get a preview of the style that we created by applying all the changes to this line. We can name it however we want. Right now I will just leave style 2 and I'll click on OK. And as you can see, it will right away appear on the styles menu so that we can apply it on whatever we want, for example, on this word or an entire paragraph. So this is all for today. Thank you for following me. As always, I ask you to support us by subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video.